Hello, and welcome to another episode of Crossing Bridges Talk Show. I'm your host, Larry Montgomery Sr. This is my co host, Will. Will, introduce yourself.
Good evening, everyone. My name is William. It's a pleasure to be here.
My name is William. I'm pleased to be here. And we got Jeanette, uh, our third co host. Jeanette, introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Jeanette, and it's a pleasure to be here.
And last but not least, we got Kimmy, our field agent. Kimmy, introduce yourself.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kimmy Benbar, and it's a pleasure to be here again.
Kimmy's in the car. She's mobile today,
Yeah,
out in the field.
she's in the field. She's in the
Right,
field.
right.
We just don't know which one she's in, but she out there.
Uh, I hope it's the cornfield.
Anyway, this week we want to talk about something that's going to be dear to each and every one of us at some point in our life. As long as we continue to live, we're going to get closer and closer to being a senior person. Now, whether you might be the elder, the eldest, or almost an elder, sometime before you become an ancestor, you're going to find yourself as, if you have children or stepchildren or whatever, you're going to find yourself as a parent. Okay. And parent isn't just a, 21-year-old or 20-year-old just had a baby or whatever. A parent is someone who's always there. They birthed you, they loved you, they raised you, they're still there, and they're still there. And so the topic focuses on honoring thy parents, honor your father and your mother. And before I get started, I want to hear the comments from my esteemed crew here, panel. Will, your thoughts?
Well, uh, hopefully everybody has been blessed with great parents. I know some people aren't, but pray for them if they're not great parents. But most of them do the best that they can with what they have, and you got to take that into account when if you're dealing with a parent that you feel is not quite there yet. But you should always respect them and understand that whatever they're doing is they're bringing it from the good part of their heart. They most parents don't want to see their kids suffer, hurt, any harm, or even heartbreak. So you really gotta, you know, sometimes whatever they say it may seem hard or harsh, but you got to realize it's coming from a place of love, and you got to respect that and understand that they're trying to do what's best for you or recommend what's best for you.
Okay. Kimmy, since you're the youngest here.
Yes, well, when it comes to honoring your mother and your father, I think it's so important because they're the reason why you have life. You wouldn't be here without them.
Hmm.
And, as Will said, like, no one's perfect, but the intent is that, you're safe and that you're well and that you're successful in life. That's the hope of every parent, or mostly every parent. And they may not, for those of you out there who may not have a biological parent in your life, or it could even be a family member, honor them as your mother or your father because they're been placed in your life for that very reason to oversee you and to guide you and to make sure that you are successful and living your best life that God has placed you to live here with purpose. So consider that your
Oh,
parents.
okay. Thank you. Jeanette, your
Uh,
turn.
well, um, parenting doesn't come with a pamphlet. You know, it's really a hard job, and everybody is not cut out to be a parent.
Mhm.
But the key thing is when you have love in your heart and you have love for your kids, and you want the best for them, they should automatically feel that. You understand what I'm saying? See, as a parent, I have 2 kids. I have 2 daughters. Um, I kind of reared off to the left, but I prayed and asked God to place His hand upon my shoulder and bring me back to the right road and walk down there with me, and He did. And for the simple fact, because I knew that I loved my kids, but I made a mistake, and I don't think that I deserve a pat on the back, but I think I did a hell of a job. You know, I think I did a hell of a job. You know, like that. You know, I love them. I did the best I can for them. They're very smart girls, not on their father's behalf, but on their mama's behalf. Okay, not that I want to take anything from him, but I'm a basically truthful person. You understand what I'm saying? So, you know, your kids are going to judge you, or, you know, feel however they want to feel. But at the end of the day, when they sit down and really think about it, they're going to say, hey, whether I'm here or not, whether if they, you know, have a chance to sit back and say, Mom was really all right, you know, but I hope will be able to hear it while I'm still here. Don't wait for me to go and be crying and carrying on, because, you know, I might come down and start choking you. Anyway, I said you should have been said that, you know. So, you know, but you know, that's all I can say is I have 2 beautiful, smart young lady, 2 daughters. I love them to death, and I did the best that I could for them, and that's all I could do. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for those comments. Kimmy, I'm sure you appreciated that. And you can let Shay know how your mother feels about her, because she may or may not listen to the show. But anyway.
She doesn't listen to me, hell.
I just want to say that I've been blessed, you know, with my children. God has been good to me, better than I can say that I, you know, deserved. Will, you know, has been with me through these last few months, you know, dedicated, and he doesn't have to be here. You know, it's not like the check comes and clears every week.
I was looking at the mailbox.
But you know, each one of my children has a different personality, and it's not necessarily a combination of me and my wife's, but that's okay too. And but God has been good, because those times when I just couldn't, you know, He has kept us. He's kept us all, and I want to thank Him for that. Because He didn't have to do it, He still would be a mighty good God, a God who's worthy of praise and honor and glory for the things that He's done. But to be blessed with children is a blessing, you know, because not everybody is blessed that way. And yes, you need to. There's no book that comes with them. There's no pamphlet that comes and lets you know, well, this is what you do first, this is what you do second, or whatever. Usually once you clean the pablum off your chest, you know, they start howling, you're like, well, what do I do now? You know, well, usually change the diaper, because that's probably an issue. You know, or give them a bottle because they're probably hungry. They really don't speak the language well at first. But the thing is that, you know, you should treat them better than how you would treat yourself, because they didn't ask to come here, you know. And it's your responsibility. I don't care, you know, what you might think or whatever. It's your responsibility to take care of that problem, take care of that situation, because it didn't have to be that way. You know, you might not. I mean, for those people who don't have children, You know, I can't comprehend. You know, I can't. So I don't have a conversation with them. I just go on and talk about other things or whatever, and I don't bring up about. I don't talk about my children in front of them because you know hate is hate, and it don't matter. You know, whether they're trying to be Christian or not. You know, jealousy is jealousy, and it comes in all shapes and sizes in all different religions. So you have to be careful when you talk around people because you never know what they're thinking or why they're thinking that, especially if you have something that they don't have. You know, they may not understand how you appreciate and how you love what you have. They got hate in their heart because they don't have it. But anyway, let's talk about the topic that we came to talk about today. First, I want to go over the passage from the Bible, Exodus 20 and 11. And God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any carving image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water underneath the earth, under the earth, sorry. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them, for I am the Lord thy God, and a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children until the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath, and the Lord thy God isn't the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, though nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maid servant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. And here we are. Number 11. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Whew. It's easier to read in my head than reading it out loud. Now, let's talk about what we mean by honor thy father and thy mother. You know, I go back to, I never really understood it. You know, you just kind of thought that, well, you know, be nice, you know, be appreciative, you know, okay. When my mother died, I wasn't there. I had to travel there. So that was one thing. When my father died, I was there. You know, I was within, let's say, half a mile of his residence, and he had to go to the hospital first for a period of time. And so there was, I don't know who was around at that particular time. Jeanette might know better. But it was upon me to step up and to look after him, to visit him at the hospital and things like that there. I had never been in a hospital myself at that point where I really understood what that meant, visiting someone in the hospital. My wife had visited her mother, and, you know, I would go there every now and then type of a thing. But, you know, my wife was there every day, before work and after work. And I really, you know, I would watch her and I would, you know, talk to her, but I really didn't didn't really comprehend it until my father was in the hospital. Then it was okay, well, you know, let me go there and see how we doing, type of thing, or whatever, and see if things have changed and so forth and so on. But my point is, when he finally passed, you know, my heart was broken. Now, I can't say, and I can honestly say that my father was probably not the greatest father, you know, there is. You know, there was many events that I participated in as a child that he never showed up. A lot of them I didn't even think to even ask him to come because he just didn't show up. So anyway, my mother and my father, they had their relationship, good, bad, or indifferent, whatever it was. They were married. But any opinion I had about my father when he died just faded away. It was, he did the best he could, you know, with what he had to work with. You know, he wasn't well educated. He wasn't a man of the world. You know, he wasn't rich. You know, he wasn't mean. You know, may have drank a little bit, but he didn't drink in excess. But he really, I don't think he really knew what a father was supposed to do or had to do. You know, I just can't put my finger on that type of a thing. So anyway, while some of my siblings may have had a different opinion because of their experience with him, that's theirs and they're entitled to that. The point is that at the end of the day, when you look back over, not only look back over my life, but I'm looking back over my father's life, he did the best that he could. You know, we all have made mistakes. That's just a fact of life. We have all made mistakes on purpose. We have made mistakes just because we was in the wrong place at the wrong time, doing the wrong thing. And so anybody who is perfect, as it says in the Bible, you can throw the first stone. But if you've made a mistake or you've fallen short, sit your behind down and keep your mouth shut. Okay? Because you ain't helping nothing. Back to the point. Honor thy mother and thy father. So it's more than when God asks you to do something, it's not just what's on the surface. You know, well, he ain't saying just be nice to your parents. If we really stop and think and look at some of these other cultures and other households, you see that the way they treat their parents, whether they like them or not, most of them, they honor them. You know, they will go the extra mile to help them. They will sacrifice in order to help their parents. And most likely, most importantly in that thinking is they know that someday they're going to be a parent. They're going to be old. They're going to be, you know, retired. You know, when you retire, you ain't retiring because, well, I got nothing else to do. You're retiring because you're pretty much finished. You know what I mean? You know, that getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning and making that grind to get to the job and then working 8-10 hours and then coming home and trying to have a life. Personally, I don't get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. When that bell hit 10, all right, I might get up. Okay. And some days I'll be laying there like, you know, I don't know if I'm gonna make it today, but I get up. And that's just me. But, you know, the body, you know, has a lot of rule over what you can and cannot do, you know, and we do wear our bodies out. Good, bad, or indifferent. They just get old and tired. And life, you know, life just keeps going on and everything is changing. I mean, when I was coming up, our phone was, you know, that thing on the wall there that you could, when anytime you didn't want to get a bill from the bill collector, you just take the phone off the hook and put it on top of the phone. No more calls. Now I got to figure out how to block that fool because I don't want to call here no more. But anyway, on the bright side of it, you know, when you get to a certain age, you're just like, you know, hey, you know, it's not that important anymore. You know, if you spend your whole life worrying about a career, you know, then what career did you have? Because all you did was live for that career. And trust me, you don't show up for work today, guess what? They will find somebody else to put in your chair and they will pay them less. So now what? But I want to point out some of the things that I think I kind of highlighted some of the things that we need to be concerned with when we talk about honoring our parents. Not because they may not have been good people. They may just be mean people, okay? But they just may have not understood what it is to be a parent, you know? And you can't hold that against them, as far as God is saying, because He's love and He wants you to be love. You know, so you can't just pick and choose who you love. You know, I can love you and not be around you. Yeah, that's fine. But, you know, you want to still keep that love thing in you, you know, and be concerned about people and things like that there. But your parents are important. You want to honor them because they did, hopefully, try to do the right thing, as Will was saying, for you, you know. I definitely not one to change duty diapers, but I had to do it. You know, some of them were surprised, and some of them, you know, you know, I mean, I learned the skill, but I ain't nothing like I want to practice that on a regular basis. And then again, you know, being a parent, you know, you try to do the best you can, and it's not just for your children, but for other people's children too. You know, I mean, you kind of go out of your way to, like, I really don't like your kid there, but if he's, you know, hey, how you doing, kid? And smile, and you know, and that kind of thing. Just being kind and friendly. But your children, you are responsible for bringing them up so they understand what rules are in this world, what consequences are, what opportunities there are, and so on. And that's a part of the reason that we do this show. We have this conversation. And so, one, because fathers are important in the household, it's a family, father and a mother. You know, secondly, our community, the Black community, has had some real challenges with encouraging men to be fathers. You know, even though there's no pamphlet that comes with it. Sometimes you have to learn as you go along, and that's okay, because if your heart is right, God will lead you to do the right thing. He will lead you to the right person to get an answer from. But if it's not in your heart, it's going to be a rough road. Okay? And sometimes we fail. Sometimes we just fail miserably, you know, and we don't know that we failed until after we, you know, get the report card. And the report card are the consequences that come back at us, you know. And again, because there's no pamphlet, you couldn't turn to the back of the book and say, well, okay, well, don't do this and don't do that type of a thing. Some things are common sense, some things aren't. Some things you actually really need someone else to have told you, don't do this, because it's going to come back at you, you know. And it's not so much as you can't take what comes back at you, it's the collateral damage. It's the thing that you can't control. You know, I mean, look, I can go out and get drunk and drive my car and have an accident. Well, that's on me. It's my car. I got drunk, whatever. But the accident, you hit somebody else's car. You hit somebody else. That's the collateral damage. You know, oh, I was a great father. You know, I raised my children. Yeah, but one's an alcoholic. The other one's got 65 kids, still trying to figure out who the baby daddy is. You know, where were you when they had that conversation? And last point, this boy, Kyle Rittenhouse, that we talked about the other day, you know, guess who got arrested today? His mother and father got arrested today.
Wow.
Because they failed to do And and the DA has actually laid out a good case. If I was on the jury, I'd be kind of hard pressed to not see where these people had not only failed but encouraged and put themselves in a place where it's like, if you had done anything differently, there would have been a different outcome. I'm not talking
They
about Kyle.
enabled him.
Not Kyle. I'm talking about the other one, the one who was at the school. Was that Oxford High School?
School shooter?
Yeah, that's the one.
One that just happened this week?
Yeah.
I don't know too much about it. I think I saw a little bit of it, but they arrested his parents?
Yeah, his parents were the ones that were arrested, for involuntary manslaughter.
He's
So
like,
you have to be there to have been, involved in it kind of somehow.
I think he was like 15 years old or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So anyway, we were talking about honoring your parents and so on. Because like I said, everybody here is a parent.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody in the group is a parent. And eventually we're going to be old. As long as we live, we're going to get old. And those things that it's our job to have instructed our children on the importance of family, the importance of life, and the importance of loving one another. And so when the opportunity presents itself, a lot of people say, look, well, I got a job. If my mother's sick, I just can't, I got to go to work. You're mentally, you're out of sync. Because what's more important? Is your mother more important or is your job? You can always get another job. Can you get another mother?
No.
Okay. And then what are you showing your children? Well, your job is more important. I can understand it's a tough option, but when that shoe is on the other foot, there will be no conversation about how tough that option is. I'm your father, I'm your mother. I need help. I want to get my last few days in here as best I can. And you can't stop for a moment to help. What kind of person are you? Anyway.
That would be selfish.
That would be clearly selfish, and it's not thinking ahead, because God gives the promise in that one particular commandment. Your days will be longer because you've done what I asked you to do.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what does that mean, longer? Is it be from 24 hours to 25 hours? No, I don't think it means that. But you'll have more days than you would have had,
Right.
And even if it's in the afterlife, you may have a better afterlife than you thought you were going to have. A lot of people don't talk about afterlife because afterlife ain't sitting around drinking pina coladas and bowing your head every now and then when God comes by. We'll have a conversation about that too. Because you see, there is really a difference between some Christians and some others. Some of those mega church leaders, when they get to heaven, should they get there, you think they're going to have a mega church? Or will they be amongst the populace standing there praising God? Got to ask the question, But we'll talk about that another time. Were there any other comments that we want to get out there? Well,
yeah. When you made that comment about choosing work over, taking care of your mother, I'm not refuting any of that. It's just, I think that if somebody chooses work over their mother, even if, I think it would still be kind of hard to be able to work knowing that your mother is needing your help and you're not able to be there. So I really don't think it would be, mentally, healthy to even choose that option, because, you're at work for 8 hours of the day. You don't know what's going on with your mother, and it'll probably just drive you crazy, just a thought.
That'd be stressful, I'm sure.
It's unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. I was just gonna say that it would be, and not only that, but when I think of it in a different retrospect, it's unfortunate because sometimes people have to work. Because the instance could be, well, your mom is sick, but in order to, get to her or provide something that she needs, it might be just one of the situations where you might have to work, which still could weigh on you too, because just the thought of knowing, like, I cannot be close to where my mom is or where my dad is because they're not well, and but I'm gonna have to need to provide some type of means or something like that. That could just be, stressful within itself as well. And I know that's probably the case for some people, not all people, but I know it could be the case for some people too. So it's kind of one of those tricky like situations
Mhm.
that you really just have to use your better judgment with, and try to do your best in any situation, because there might be an instance where someone's working and they might not get paid for time off. So for God forbid, if your mom's in the hospital for over a week or 2 weeks, and you say, yeah, you can get another job, but what if you can't pay your rent? You know what I mean? Or buy food. You know what I mean? And I don't want to object that.
Mhm.
I just want to see it from like both angles.
Yeah. Can I?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
one reason why we need to have these conversations, because if you're not thinking of it happening, then you're not able to plan for it. You know, so
Right.
like, trying to get your resources together so that in the event of an emergency or something like that, because God forbid, you know, it happens and you're not prepared, then it's like, oh, I need to go to the bank to get a loan. I need to get a plane ticket. I need to take, 10 weeks off of work, but they're only going to give me 6. I mean, it can be very chaotic, but if you get your finances and you're self situated, it's like, look, I don't know what to expect, but I'm ready for anything, you know?
Yeah, it's one of those situations where, like I said, if that shoe was on the other foot, you certainly would have a whole different perspective as to, well, who can I look to help me? Well, my parents, who are clearly older, are looking for help and needing help. You say, oh, I got to go to work. Well, they have family leave. Okay, yeah. Well, I'm not saying take family leave just because your mom's got an upset stomach today. But I'm just saying,
Mhm.
as the thing starts to become clear that this is really a problem,
Mhm.
you have to start thinking as to, and that's the thing. If it's in your heart, you'll think through, you'll seek, you'll look for the wisdom that you need, you'll pray. Well, Lord, what should I do? Maybe it's not for you, it might be for someone else to do it. But at least he will lead you and guide you in the direction of, well, okay, this is important, and I know you want to do it, but I have this is for someone else to do. You just stay on top of it, type of a thing. Keep be aware. But if it rolls out that, yeah, there is a problem, and yeah, it's going to take a while to deal with, it might be their final days, you know, and you're sitting there saying, well, no, I got to hold on to this job because, if they're gone, I'm not going to be able to, whatever. You got to pray on that. You say, God, lead me to what you would have me to do. You said, you command me to honor my father and my mother, and I want to do your bidding. So show me the way. Make a way for me to do it. He will. There's no question about that. But it's in what's in your heart is what's important. You know, Jeanette, did you have any words of wisdom?
uh, well, I'm just speaking as far as I'm concerned in a situation like that. If it was my mother, may she continue to rest in peace, miss her dearly. And there would be no other choice about this situation. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Everything would be pushed aside because I would just be focused on my mother and the Lord Jesus Christ having my back.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't have a problem making a decision, whatever the case may be, rent, job, whatever, court, whatever, because I know with my faith in God, He will work it out. You know
Mhm.
what? Because I'm doing His work, His will. You
Mhm.
understand what I'm saying? To go continue to honor my mother, to be with her. You know, like that's
Mhm.
what all the other stuff would be secondary to me. That's I'm just speaking about me
Mhm.
per se. That's what I would do.
Mhm. Okay. Um, Will, you want to make your announcement?
Yes, to our viewers, we appreciate you viewing our show here, and we would like to extend the opportunity to recommend topics for our discussion. If you would like to be a part of the panel, please also send a request through the comments, and we will try to get you on the panel. And thank you for viewing.
Next week, what are we going to talk about?
Hmm.
Mm,
Let's talk about
yes.
Kimmy's driving because I
Oh,
think she's doing too fast.
how about how about how about that? Well, she never does the speed limit. I tried to call the police patrol to catch it, but she always outrun them. But anyway, I must set up
You
something.
need to have
I'm gonna
an
set up
honor
something where they
daughter
can
and
catch her.
son day. Right, Will? Honor
I was
daughter
thinking
and
that
son.
you read my mind, but I was like, I don't think that was in the Bible, so I can't say it. I get
I
laughed
want to
at.
know about this. Excuse me. I want to know about this police lady that shot and killed the young black boy and said that she thought she had the taser in her hand and it was the gun, a
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh,
gun.
wow.
Well, the trial is just starting this
Yeah,
week.
I want to.
It'll probably be a couple of
Uh huh.
weeks.
Well, she was convicted.
Really?
Are they doing it over or something? Because I think I heard something
Oh,
about it.
she was
No, the
convicted.
trial just started this week.
I'm sorry,
Yes,
I'm thinking about that
it's
other one where she went to the wrong apartment. I'm sorry.
Right. Right.
There was a
oh,
cop
she
that
was
went to the wrong
convicted, right?
apartment. She was convicted. Yeah.
Mm.
My apologies, everybody.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Good,
So,
good. So
okay. Well, we'll figure out something.
Mhm.
of course,
I'll text you.
of course, there's something always going on.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
let's end this show, and I'll see each and every one of you next week, God willing, and the
Okay.
creek don't
And the
rise.
creek don't rise.
Right. All right. That's right.